All right, so this is the For Your Thoughts podcast where psychology, pop culture, and self meet. My name is Pennie Anassi, and I'm here with my guest, Jameer Pond. Say what's up.
Hey, please,
Hey, so
what's
I was
up?
like, we should start the pod with your song, with your intro song for your kids. But if you had a day, I'm not sure if you want to sing it first.
Hold on, let me see if I got it. Motown at home. He's a father of three, but you ain't hearing from me. He's doing his best. You'll laugh with your chest, cause it's bending. Oh yes, he's bending. It's spinning, 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 spending more time at home.
Oh my God. Yes, thank you. Thank you
I didn't
so
know I
much.
had that in my soul,
You
but I
had
had
it was
it.
right. It was right there with
It
it.
was right
It
there.
was right there with it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So for those who don't know, this is really about like your mental health journey, but of course we want to talk about your career journey because I'm sure that has a lot to do with, your mental health journey. A lot.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yes. So
Definitely.
let people know kind of like where you started, where you were, where you are now, and where you think you're headed.
Oh. All right. So I would say like I started in media. I started probably like 2012. That's when I like officially started. And I was working at the New York radio stations, Hot 97 and WBLS.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I know like and met and fell in love and became friends with the whole Black Girl podcast.
Yes.
That's like we came up together, like all of us working in some facet of Hot 97 and WBLS. And so I
Love that
maintained it.
podcast.
Yeah, maintain just like it's a great podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But maintain like such a good relationship and rapport, and we really grew up together as far as like in the media business. But after I left, I got laid off. After I got laid off at High 97 in
Was that
2018,
during was it like a lot of people that got laid off during that time?
nah, it was like I want to say maybe like no, it was me and my homie Kathy. It was just
Okay.
like we just got laid off.
Yeah, okay.
And I never forget what my manager at that point in time told me. He was like, you are being held back from this by this place.
Wow.
You need to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in time, I'm like kiss my ass. Like you
Yeah.
just fired me
Yeah, like
basically.
what I'm supposed to do.
What I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to pay rent with
Mhm.
that?
And
Like I
especially like
can't.
Hot 97 being such like an entity and a thing, I'm sure a lot of people like attached you to that and it, or you
Absolutely.
might have even attached yourself to that identity, like on some like not no clout shit, but you know what I mean? People attach people to
No.
certain things.
Absolutely. You're
It's
absolutely
scary.
right.
Yeah.
My identity was wrapped up in that. And so I lost myself in a sense when I was laid off because I didn't know who I was outside of that.
Mm.
And we'll circle back to
Yeah.
that theme later, but um that was April. So by September, I was working at BuzzFeed's Cocoa Butter.
Mm-hmm.
And I produced and been a part of like things that have gone viral, like Black Moms Try Each Other's Soul Food for the first
Yes.
time. Yeah, I directed that, and different variations of that for Cocoa Butter, and it really like blew up. And at the same time, I got on a show on BET called Black Coffee. This is 2019, and I was working doing Black Coffee early in the morning, and then going to BuzzFeed and working for Cocoa Butter and doing them both at the same time, and kind of like really hitting the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and after BuzzFeed, and again, we'll go back to the mental health aspect, but after BuzzFeed, in 2020, I left and went to Condé Nast. So I'm currently a video director at Condé
Okay. I
Nast.
don't think I knew that.
Yeah. I kept it really on the low.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're on
I'm
the slight with it.
oh no.
Okay.
I promise you it wasn't like that. It's just like now I have a lot more alignment with who I am. And so prior I used to really like with High 97 wrap myself up in these brands.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, all right, I'm proud that I get to work with these brands, but I also am so proud of me and
Yeah.
just like the creativity and things that I can do on
Like
my
your
own.
own brand, your own identity.
You
Like,
know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Yeah, and I never had that. So
mm-hmm,
yeah. So that's where I am now. That's pretty much my like 8-year journey. I've
mm-hmm.
been hosting, uh, I've been just doing content left and right throughout those 8 years, and just proud to be here 2021.
I feel like people like on the outside looking in, like they always think that okay, if you're attached to like this brand or whatever, they think like that's like the mark, like that's the goal. They think that you're already
Yeah.
like in the dream. But I don't think they understand like as creatives like how it truly feels. Like you really don't have a say so in a lot of things. A lot of your ideas, although you like either they're dismissed or they're taken, and you really don't get the credit that's due, or even the not even the credit that's due because forget that, but like the money that should be due because these companies are making so much money off of like
Yeah.
your work that's making them, get
Hmm.
garner that attention and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you're like learning how to like separate that. That's smart to still have that and then separate it. I never really thought or have heard of anyone just doing it like that. So that's dope.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah. It's so much more important for me at this point in time as a creative
cool.
to give a lot of that energy to myself,
Yeah.
right? Because I also have to remember I'm an entity, just like
Mm-hmm.
any of these companies. If I bring myself, I'm bringing my entity. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is I put time in, creative energy, and just all kind of creative energy, for
Yeah.
lack of better
A
words.
lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're right. You can make millions for a company, and then really be left unfulfilled from it.
Yeah.
And so now, before I even make sure like they're good, I make sure I put the mask over myself first
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Like what they tell you on the air.
on the airplane. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
very. But I was like, okay, what do I really want to do next? I'm like, I have to make sure that my brand and like myself is like solidified first because like that's really all you have. Like it's been proven time again. Like that's all we really have.
That's all we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to hear from someone who like has really like been in this for a while.
Hmm.
So for me personally, what made me be like, oh my God, he has to be on my podcast is really none of that. It's really like your talk about like mental health as a Black man. And that's huge. That's even why I'm in media because I just feel like it's a great like intersection. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
space where a lot of people are dealing, musicians, like artists, even people behind the scenes. It's a stressful area, like a stressful like career or job, whatever.
Hmm.
And like we need to talk more about that. People are like dying left and right, suicide from like our favorites, and it's just like I feel like it's a great space to have these convos in a less daunting way. So like
Yeah.
when did you realize like, oh hey, I want to go see a therapist, or what that journey look like for you?
It happened 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, I was working at BuzzFeed's Cocoa Butter, and I was also a host, well, a co-host of a show on BET. It was BET's first digital morning show, called Coffee with Mark Lamont Hill and Gia Peppers and myself. And I had spent so much time in my career to get to that point. Like, if you know anything about New York, the hustle is palpable.
Yeah.
You can feel it, you can taste
That
it in
word's
the
great.
air. It's part
Palpable.
of the it's a different kind of beast. And so you work, bust your ass for nothing. I'm talking about promises, for handshakes, not even for money some of the time.
Yeah.
Doing
No,
gigs for
seriously,
free,
that is so true.
networking, trying to get to this point where I can pay bills doing what I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I had two sides of the coin. I could do two things that I was very passionate about, was
Mm-hmm.
produce and direct content and be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing both, and I wasn't happy.
Still.
Still, it was a weird feeling. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. So like if you could describe to put like words to like when you woke up in the morning, like what would you say like was your first, like how did you feel, or what was the feel, if you can describe. I know it's very much so
yeah,
indescribable, but if you can paint the picture for the listeners because they will,
sure.
yeah.
Sure. So also at the time, I was in a relationship
Mm,
that was kind of winding down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also going on. So like to answer the question, when I woke up, it felt like work, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I had worked my ass off to get to this point. We talking about a 7, 8 year journey
Mm-hmm.
to get to this point where I could be on television and digital platforms every day doing what I love,
Yeah.
and also directing and producing content.
Like exactly what your mind, what you thought about every single day and what you worked for
Yes,
got there, and then it was like, wait.
it felt the same. It felt like I had to go to work because it was so much on my shoulders,
Mhm.
and emotionally I started to break and buckle. I really did.
Mhm.
Like I just became unrecognizable in the sense of like very robotic. Like I didn't have time. Like I had gotten what I wanted, and it was just like boom,
Mhm.
tunnel vision. So I realized I was like, all right, I need to go talk to somebody because this don't feel right.
Yeah.
Don't feel right. Like I remember just like crying. It just felt heavy. I was
Mhm.
crying. And I'll never forget, like a friend texted me and was like, yo, I just saw your picture in Times Square. And I looked at the text message and I looked at my picture on is a billboard,
Yeah.
and
That's a dream. Yeah.
I just was bawling. Like, but not because I was happy, because I could have cared less about that at that point in time.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, I need to go talk to somebody. So
Mhm.
a friend of mine recommended me to his therapist, a black woman. And you know, that first session was like, oh, it's something deep rooted. Like it was the first session.
Crazy because
I
people
was like,
have breakthroughs way later. That's crazy.
it was a realization that I needed this, and I was no longer gonna run from trying to get help. It was like, I gotta be here for this.
Mhm.
And that was 29 summer 2019. So I've almost been in therapy for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you think it's benefited you, and what like fears and opinions like did you have before going that have like been debunked now? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
post actually going through it for a couple years.
I never I was in therapy as a kid when my parents divorced.
Mhm.
So I had a realization of therapy early, thank God. Um, so I knew once I started really getting acclimated in it that I wasn't gonna go in with any preconceived notions.
Mhm.
Like I think I went in with the mindset that I was gonna beat therapy. Like I'm gonna beat it,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna tell her what she need to hear, and now I'm beat it.
Mhm.
Like not trying to be present all
Like
the
how
way.
you do like normal life. Like I'm gonna
Exact. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like how
Mhm.
you do normal life. And the sessions that I started, like by the fourth session, I was like, I'm stripping all this. Like it's no more bravado, no more ego. Like
Mhm.
I'm coming here as my full self. But what I would say, how it's changed me, I mean, I can't even count the ways. Like
Mhm.
I would say prior before therapy, I learned that I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to set boundaries from people, from things. I didn't know how to properly take care of myself as far as physically,
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally.
Mhm.
And I think when the pandemic hit, uh, my body just went into like automatic, just cut out bad habits, started eating properly, started working out,
Mhm.
started taking vitamins, started really taking care of myself.
Yeah.
I never did that
Mhm.
prior.
Yeah. To
I never
yeah.
emotionally
Really change
did
your
that.
life, like basically.
It changed my entire life and my entire outlook on life.
Mhm. I saw in an interview or in a clip on your Instagram, I'm not sure, but you were saying that like you like people wanted like a certain Jameer
Mhm.
that like was no longer there, or something in that sense. Can you speak more on that? Because I felt she was like, I really, really do feel this in a way. So can we speak more on like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
And what I meant by that was that uh I'll say this: black people, we've never had a chance to in this country to live.
Never, literally.
We don't live. We survive. We're in survival
Literally,
mode.
yeah.
You know, we're not given the opportunity to live. You know, to go to therapy is such a, and I wish it wasn't, but it's such a luxury. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
privilege
Mm-hmm.
that some people don't get a chance to have,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's money wise or whether it's just internally. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not trusting and not thinking that, thinking that we can be so resilient and
Yeah.
survive. We've been doing that for a long time. I was in survival mode my whole life emotionally from, since a young age.
Yeah.
And there was a Jameer who was very much a people pleaser, very much like, no, let me make sure that everything's calm. It's my responsibility to make sure that everybody's good, keeping the party going,
Yeah.
just doing things that is like, for what?
Like
For
exerting
what?
energy that you don't even have. Like
That
you
I don't even
can't.
have,
Yeah.
taking on people's issues. Um, Even when they wouldn't fight as hard for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
going above and beyond for other people. And when you look back at it, it's like, what do I have to show for it?
Yeah.
So now, again, going through therapy and really healing and rediscovering who I am at a different level,
Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing like a lot of that stuff was not serving me in
Mm-hmm.
the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It was keeping me together in the short term, but I was slowly breaking down.
Yeah. Like it was serving everybody but you. Like
But me. And I
everybody.
put everything I had into everybody else's cup and
Mm-hmm.
would constantly run on empty.
Yeah. And with the whole survival thing, that's crazy because like some people, it's like when I wake up, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna eat. So
I
how
gotta
can
figure
I
out how I'm gonna
even figure
eat.
out how why I'm crying? So I'm like, or what's wrong with me, or what like deep rooted issues that I might not even remember like traumatized me from like
That,
years and years ago. Like that's the least
yeah.
of a lot of people's worries. And that sucks that
Yes.
we have to like that's how we have to live our lives. But thankfully, it's getting better. I think so.
I think so too. I think every generation is progressing. Every generation progresses
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. A lot of ways we regress to say the same as well. But I'm glad that something like mental health can even be brought up in a matter that's so serious now,
Mhm.
as opposed to being looked at and laughed at and
Yeah.
scoffed at, and
Mhm.
kind of be made a joke of.
Mhm.
Like it's really not a joke how we live our lives, and there's people who haven't cried in like 20 years.
Yeah. You can't
Like
even imagine what's going on in that person's head. Like,
right. Imagine holding in a sneeze for
for
25
I be
years.
trying to hold my coughs in now because of COVID. 'Cause
And you
everybody
can't
thinks
you
that
can't
you
even
can't
cough.
cough.
Yeah, you can't cough no more. You can't cough no more.
Like,
Coughing is done. You cannot cough no more. It's a dub for coughing. But yes,
but yes, yes.
holding that in for 20 years,
Hmm.
and even that being seen is just like, if you show any kind of emotion, you food,
Yeah.
you know
And even the sense of people who like, people are like, oh, that's just my crazy cousin, or that's just my this. But it's like that might be your cousin who has like bipolar. They
yes.
can be easily like treated with some medication or some therapy or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. Like even things like that. So with that being said, is any like now that you're in therapy and you are kind of like going through your journey, do you notice anything about your family, or do you even have family who might have like anxiety or depression or anything like that? Do you notice any genetic things happening?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot in mine. So, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's a thing. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all in survival mode in some way, shape, or form, and it
Hmm.
it extends past the kind of class of black people you are. It's like it affects us deep rooted, you
Yeah.
know. So like, it don't matter if you got money, you don't got money, you still black
Yeah.
in America.
Yes. Period.
period. So
Yeah.
we all have deep rooted issues from that. I think
Mhm.
it's just now I can identify them more clearer.
Mhm.
And even in mine, where I'm like, okay, I need to set up boundaries because I know how I move.
Yeah.
You know, I know what I'm used to. I know what I'm accustomed to. Like,
Mhm.
so now I used to be real flighty, you know, where I if I would do a project, I would do it for a little bit and then be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not turned out the way I wanted to. Just, you know, instead
Mhm.
of really working at it,
Mhm.
relationships, friendships, you know, just in general, have a fight and just stop talking to the person because I can't communicate. I don't
Mhm.
know how to go back and have a proper conversation and be accountable for my actions. Like I noticed that that's a trait that I had and that a whole bunch of other people around me had.
Mm. And was it just like you think just like the way like your family has always communicated and it just was like instilled in you, or do you think it's something specific that made you be that way? You know what I mean?
I think it's you know, you watch people have to bottle emotions up.
Yeah.
That's a learned behavior.
Yeah. It
You
is.
know, you watching people like just be like, think about it. How we compliment women, just black women. You so strong, you so resilient.
Mhm.
Like this is learned behavior. I had to watch you be
Yeah.
abused in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that was my experience, but
Yeah.
like that's an overly common theme of overcoming adversity.
Mhm.
So it's a learned behavior when you see the strongest person in the room or in the family have to pick their jaw up, crack it back into place, and stand up and be like, "Is that all you got?"
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so
Mhm.
you're not even going to acknowledge you hurt. You know, you in pain, you got trauma. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like it was, I think it was a couple podcasts ago, but my guest, we were talking about basically like therapy and dating. And women, I feel like black women, we're, a lot of us are in therapy. Or
Mm-hmm.
not the majority, but you know, it's happening. But a lot of our black men are not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what can you say has changed, like as far as you, like how you approach dating and that whole thing now that you are kind of like a little bit more evolved in a sense?
I don't look at dating. Um, my prerequisites are different now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily like. Of course, I want you to be goal oriented. Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. Goal orientation for me
Mhm.
was something that was consistent all through like what I looked for. But
Mhm.
now it's more so of, are you happy?
Mhm.
Because if you're not happy, this
Yeah.
is not going to be a happy relationship.
Not at all.
Not all.
How can we add to each other if like you aren't even like there yet?
Exactly.
Mhm.
And if you're not happy, are you healing in an effective way?
Mhm.
Are you looking into that? Is that something that's forward movement?
Mhm.
Because I want to be. I'm striving for happiness, like in a happiness. First time in my life, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Despite everything that's going on, I've still found and carved in some room for some happiness for me.
Mhm.
So I need to know that, you know, there's some happiness with you.
Yeah.
Like if you just hate Mondays all the time, I'm like, I don't know if I could, you know.
Yeah. Like I don't know about this.
We in a pandemic every day, pretty much Monday. All
Yeah.
right. So I
Especially
mean,
now, every day is every day. Every
every day
day,
is every day.
same day.
Same day,
Literally.
same thing. Like I need to know that your happiness is not gonna lie within this relationship,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and just also like, how's your relationship with your family?
Mhm.
What's your relationship with, like, you got a good relationship with your parents?
Mhm.
Things like that. Like I
That's
need to
very
know.
telling.
Yeah. Just more like actual, like, I care about you questions. Like I'm trying to really get to know you instead of like, yo, what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Like that's that's cool. Like
Yeah.
that's, I'll learn that later. Like, are
Mhm.
you healthy?
Yeah.
I need to know that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's your approach with that thing? Because sometimes it's like I've seen a lot of my friends sometimes like, damn, he's asking too many. I know I don't think this because I'm super like introspective and I love like deep things. But some
Hmm.
people are like, dang, asking all these questions like way
Yeah.
too soon or whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Nah, I think it's a timing to have that conversation, but I don't think
Yeah,
a conversation like that should wait.
for
You
sure.
know, not at all. Like I think that's kind of got to be, some of the first few conversations. Like, hey, you happy?
Hmm.
You happy being here? Like
Or
in
even you
general.
just might notice naturally, like by hanging out with somebody, you can just a
Exactly.
red flag or whatever.
Right. I think those conversations can happen naturally.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't even think about it as being evasive. Like, if I'm interested in you, I want to know about you
For sure.
because I'm be spending time, I'm be putting in effort, I'm be really
Hmm.
like getting to know you on different levels.
Hmm.
Like, I think I'm in a more intentional space, right? So I'm more like, hey, if I don't have it, which I really don't now, like I'm still healing, going through stuff. So I don't want to be in a relationship. Plus, it's like the pandemic. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting me together, but I want to get to know people because you never know what can happen.
Hmm.
But I'm a
I don't know what I was listening. I don't know where this is from or what interview or
mhm.
where or was it your Instagram? You were saying that you were like taking like specifically was like, oh, I'm not gonna date for a certain amount of time. Did I hear that or am I tripping?
You might have.
I feel like you said that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you
I don't know.
nah, you might have. Like, I need to. I want to build a foundation of friendship first.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and what I mean by that is not like, yo, we could be friends and I'm a, just have sex with you and
Mhm.
dick you down simultaneously and then be like, you ain't my girl.
Yeah.
Nah, it's about like, let me really get to know you.
Mhm.
Let
Mhm.
me really get to know you. I During the pandemic, I'm like, yo, time is of the essence. And if I'm gonna spend time with you, I need to be able to really get to know you. We gotta have thorough conversations. I gotta even know if I like you, if I like communicating with
Like
you.
really actually like you, yeah.
Yeah,
People
you know
don't
what I
be
mean?
liking people after a while. We've noticed that, like with the pandemic, like
Yeah.
it's all like lust and stuff. And then once
Yes.
that's gone, it's like, do I actually like you as a person? Like,
As a human, do I
yeah.
like you? And
Mm.
if the answer is no, then why am I why like there's this, all right, let me just stay just to see, what can, and nah, if it's not good, you got to be able to communicate that
Mhm.
and not be afraid to.
Mhm.
Like, because that's how I noticed my patterns. Like, I would tuck the emotions down and then bear with it. So now I know that that's some place I can't go anymore
So
because
you're
that's
just nipping
progressive
in the bud
behavior.
as soon as it
Yeah,
happens.
so let's communicate instead of just making this gray area.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
what's one word of advice you'd give like women? I have like a little bit more. I actually have a good like amount of men, but a little bit more women that listen when it comes to dating. Evolves women. Like, what's one piece of advice from a man, a good guy who actually cares?
Well, well, look, I'm still figuring out what good means. Like, I'm getting I had baggage and shit, like
Yeah.
I'm still growing. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say I'm the good guy.
Oh no. Yeah.
But I'm healing. I'll say that. The one thing that I can offer is that I would just say, if he shows you who he is the first time, believe him.
Mm,
I think we got a hard issue with that, right? Because
yeah.
I senses my sensor was off. I
Mhm.
would see a red flag and be like, all right, but I can still move, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
Your body, like, I had to learn to listen to myself clearly, and I
Mm,
wasn't doing that. And so
mhm.
now it's like, red flag. All right, either we nip it in the bud or this is something we bringing up immediately because you didn't like that. Why didn't you like that? All
Like,
right, you didn't
yeah,
like that.
it's gonna happen again. Yeah, it's like, and I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of people have like an inkling or like whatever gut feeling, but you just kind of subside it because it's all
exactly.
fun and it's all cute and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it's like you do have a feeling about certain things that you should definitely
You
address.
should,
Yeah.
because they're red flags to you, and
Mm.
what little micro like micro holes do is that they keep expanding.
Mm-hmm.
They expand, and the more you tuck down, the little by little by little, all that shit accumulates, and then it gets bigger.
Mm-hmm. And then the longer you are like with somebody, the harder it is to let that person go if you see that you can't operate with these red flags.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because now the little stuff that you could have addressed previously, you don't let go, and now everything is like you a volcano.
Yeah.
Because you've been wanting to tell him to pick up his socks on the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom floor for
Mm-hmm.
years. You've been wanting to say that.
That's how
And little by
I
little.
definitely was a people pleaser in a sense, and especially in relationships, because I'm already like that, with just normal people. So imagine
Mm-hmm.
how that was like with somebody that I love. I would just wake
Exactly.
and then I would just like explode, not in a bad way, like yelling and stuff like that, but internally explode, like
Yeah.
break down, crying, explode. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like, where is all this pain coming from? And it's just because
Yes.
like I just let so much pass me by or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to definitely work on that too. So, okay, so your plant babies, your plant daughter is dating. So I hope she hear this. You need to hear this. Did you tell her about this?
I be trying to kick game to my plants. They don't want to hear me. They don't be listening to me. They don't take me seriously when I be dropping these gems for them.
Right? Okay, so where did that even come from? Like, I feel like that, although it's like funny, it's hilarious, it's great content, it really showed like how creative you are and how innovative you are. Cause it's like, okay, we're in a pandemic. I can't make content next to anybody. So I'm about to make it with these plants. You know what I'm saying? So that just showed
Yes.
even a lot more of like who you are as a producer, as even an actor now, or like because you writer, everything. You know what I'm saying? So
I do the music.
everything singing, like what? So now it's like, okay, where did that come from? Was there a reason behind it? Like,
All
what?
right. So interestingly enough, so I moved also in the pandemic. Like I was
Okay.
staying with my mom for a little bit, and I moved in August, and so I got my own spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said out there to a few people that like I wanted to start having plans,
Mm-hmm.
but I probably was just bullshitting. Like
Yeah.
I said it and it was like I want plans, but like you know.
Mm-hmm.
And no lie, like um my friend Safira, I had visited her for her birthday, socially distanced, by the way. Um, but she had gifted me her money tree.
Mm.
And I was like, oh wow, like this is really beautiful. Like somebody gift you a money tree, it's supposed to mean like prosperity, good luck. And you put some money under it and you attract money. I'm like, okay, I never had a money tree. I felt like a bad bitch. All right. I was like, okay, so I shot this one thing with like my money tree, and it was like a reel on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then like about a week later, my friend who I love dearly, her name is Devon DJ, she sent me two plants. And so I was like, damn, like I'm out here really like a plant father.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me just do let me do this thing. So I did this thing, Mo Time at Home, which is the series name, and
Mm-hmm.
I shot it like a 90s black sitcom. And
We all love those.
yeah, we all
Mm-hmm.
remember how cheesy like everything was.
Mm-hmm.
So I shot it and I produced it myself. I did the song, and then I threw it up, and it got such a great like review. Like people was like, "Yo, I love this," and I remember I was like, "I love it too. I really like doing this. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is nice." So I said, "All right, what can I do?" I said, "I'm gonna challenge myself to do an episode a week,
Mm-hmm.
to throughout the week draft and write up like whatever the concept is, and always incorporate music with it because I love music.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me a chance just to do everything,
Yeah.
just to kind of do everything myself. And what I said about depending on brands for success, I had always done that. And I had every skill that I have now. I
Mm-hmm.
just never utilized all of it. And so I was like, oh, let's challenge ourselves. We're gonna do a challenge. Let's
Mm-hmm.
challenge ourselves. And so I started doing it, and I started seeing like people really like, yo, I like this, bro. Like this is really creative. This is really fun. Like you're a bright spot. in what's going on right now. I said, okay. Then I got like another plant from a friend, Karma. She sent me a snake plant, and then I got a plant from my friend Shaquan, and then another plant
Okay, so
from
all these plants were coming like what? Like they just came like after.
yes,
Yeah. Okay. So you just
yes. After
for
the
more
fact, like
kids coming to the door.
yes,
Okay, that's good.
yes.
I get it. Okay.
And so like they were all significantly, they were
Hmm.
all sent by Black women,
Nice.
and which has been a very that has been a big indicator in my career, and this is why I
Yeah.
go hard, like because every opportunity that I've gotten was pretty much from a Black woman.
Black woman. Hmm.
Every opportunity that I've gotten stemmed from a Black woman,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, this is just a symbol again of why like I owe Black women a lot for
Hmm.
like even where I am, and even my therapist. I owe Black women a lot.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
it
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So with plants, I know a lot of people say that even taking care of a plant is like good for your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving next week. I'll have way more light. So I was like, I'm not about to get a plant because my baby is going to perish. So how do you think that, being a plant dad has truly, like, honestly, this is like no funny stuff, but like really helped with like your mental health and just like having like a hobby period. Like what about plants
Yeah.
you just like, you know what I'm saying?
I I'm really the fact that I'm seeing my plants grow and get greener
Yeah.
and get like stronger.
You're talking about it like it's your baby, it's your
They're
kid.
my babies,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, okay, like this is a real thing. And that's why I have a lot of fun because it's like, not only am I doing this Instagram show for me, but like I want to make sure, like I heard that singing with your plants and talking to your plants and being interactive with your plants helps them grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I treat them like stars because I want to make sure they're good. Like having
Yeah.
other living things in a pandemic
Mm-hmm.
has been really helpful for my mental health.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna get a puppy or a cat or an animal, but I have plants like because I know I can take care of them. I know they're like low maintenance, but like I play music. I
Mm-hmm.
talk
And
to
they look
them.
good.
Yeah, I'll be making sure they good. Like, yo, y'all good today? Y'all feeling healthy? You look a little thin, babe. You look thin, baby. What's happening?
A leaf falling off. What's
Lisa,
going
you look a little ashy right now. Let me get some alkaline water for you. You look kind of ashy right now. No, but like
on?
it's just like keeping up with making sure that other living things are doing well.
Yeah.
Like
It's like a good habit, like forming those good habits, knowing
yes,
that that's in your schedule for the day and the plan, especially with all this, everything's like unpredictable now, but it's good to
absolutely.
have that. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Okay, another piece of content is you and Gia doing the This Is Us
Oh, yes.
commentary, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I still have to catch up on it. It's like This Is Us is like one of those shows where, especially if you're an empath like me, you about to feel everything. So
Everything.
I have
It's
to
gonna
like
kick
watch
your
it
ass.
each season. I just take a moment before I go to
Yeah,
each season.
I understand.
So yeah. So what do you love about This Is Us? Because it's an amazing show. Like
Yeah.
what drew you to that?
It wasn't. I think what drew me to This Is Us was the hooks, like the hooks and the writing and how they include so much and they hit you like with a surprise punch
Yeah.
all the time, and it's always like, damn, like that's crazy.
Hmm.
I got hooked on that, and I think it's a testament to the writing. It's
Yeah.
a testament to the actors as well. Sterling K. Brown is like he an incredible actor.
Fire.
He's an incredible actor. Like he could act with his face, you
Hmm.
know. Not like now Viola Davis. She act with her face. Like she
Yeah.
be acting with her face. But he really encompasses what I like. I've seen him before in my life. Like I've seen
Mm-hmm.
those kind of dudes. I've, I've
Yeah.
I've come up with them or like their old heads like around. Like I've seen that type of dude, and so it's good to see somebody that's easily identifiable
Hmm.
in Randall. And I feel like as I've grown, even getting into therapy, I've seen Randall grow
Mm-hmm.
hit pitfalls, and also like I think it's just a really good show that touches on trauma behind the curtain of like family. But this is
Exactly.
us. This
For
is
me,
who
what
we
comes
are.
to it, like it really showed like you never know what somebody went through, the twists and
Nope.
turns to get to what you're seeing today. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? That is insane to me. Or even just like how one moment can like change the trajectory of your life, but because you encountered this person, it changed this and that person, and it was
Yeah.
like a
Yep.
crazy way to like think about life and a crazy way to like really be like, oh, like have empathy for people because you
Yep.
really do not know like
Mm.
the webs behind them.
You don't know.
It's
You
insane.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think G and I found a commonality in that.
Mhm.
We work very well together. Like I said, we've come up together, but also just like working on Black Coffee, and
Mhm.
just like being able to. I know if I throw an alley oop to Gia, she gonna catch it and slam dunk it.
I'm
Like
actually interviewing her next week about the Daniel fast that she did.
I
So,
mean, she's incredible. Like
mhm.
she's really, really, really extremely talented,
Mhm.
and so it makes it easy. I don't even feel like it's work.
Mhm.
Like we get up and we converse about the show.
Yeah.
And I trust her enough to know that her opinion is solid every time. And I
Mhm.
know she can say that vice versa. And so
Mhm.
we just feed off each other and have a good time.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And lastly, as far as content goes, I think you said you directed it was some content about the barber shop
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So what made like what drew you to that as well?
Okay, so I like when I was
I've never really like seen anybody discuss that, but I always wondered how does a gay man feel in the barbershop because it's just
right.
a cutthroat situation in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely. So while I was at BuzzFeed, I created a series called Advice from a Barber, which was a look inside the Black barbershop. And so it would, very much so like this shop and other barbershop shows,
Mhm.
like go in depth with Black people and talk about different kind of experiences, pop culture, relationship, health, like all this stuff. So I knew that creating this show, automatically I knew that I wanted gay Black men involved.
Mhm.
Like I said, this is gonna be a show for the whole spectrum. Like we're not just going to talk to one type of Black man
Yeah.
or one type of Black
Not
person
just
in
hetero
general.
men. Yes.
Right, right. Because
Just hetero.
even
Yeah.
I did an episode where there was a woman there and she was getting
Mhm.
her haircut. But like I wanted to make a show that encompassed what all Black people do.
Mhm.
Because we all have, again, I really like to do things. I don't like more so talking anymore. Like I can talk about it, but I rather show it.
Yeah.
I rather show it. So I wanted to have a conversation for a while about um gay Black men in the barbershop because I've always wondered. Like I've seen gay Black men in the barbershop and I've heard like the wildest conversations. And I'm like, some gay Black men don't speak up and they sit there
Yeah.
and they might internalize it. They might be nervous. I don't know how they feel. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to communicate that. And my good friend Donovan Thompson from Grapevine, a lot of
Mhm.
people might know him from Grapevine. I say, you got to do this, man. Like, you got to have this conversation because it's a conversation that I know you can say what a community can't say or hasn't said
Mhm.
as widely and as a matter of factly as you have.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you do this? Can you have this conversation about being Black and gay in the barbershop?
Mhm.
It's like, yeah.
Mhm.
And so the end result was I really think a overall sentiment that this is a problem.
Yeah.
And if we say like Black Lives Matter, it's like, all right, but like, all right, what Black life?
Exactly.
What Black life matter?
Exactly.
And at what percentage are we valuing these Black lives?
Mhm.
Because if it's 100% and it's only like cisgender Black men,
Yeah.
then where's the women? Where's everybody else that falls into this Black
Mm.
Lives Matter? So I'm like, I'm not going to sit up here and create just monolithic pieces of art.
Yeah.
Nah, I want to expand the conversation. Why do people not feel comfortable about coming to barbershop? They pay money just like I do. Can they be included in the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
No. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Talk about it. I love that. Switching gears a little bit. Okay,
Mhm.
so two of my friends, actually, I'm sure you've heard about this because you're on Twitter. Two of my friends went viral because of the whole Bali situation. They were actually guests on the podcast a couple of episodes ago. So not to talk about their story, but to just talk about going viral. Period. Me and my dad went viral like 2 years ago as well, and it's just a crazy. Not ours was positive though. So, but I
Okay.
really want to talk about like your viral moment
Yeah.
so and like really in a sense of I am so anti like cancel culture and anti just like internet bullying and stuff like that. And I want to talk about like how it feels to be on the other side. Like no one knows what it feels like to be the actual joke or the actual subject at
Mhm.
hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to know how that all went down with you and the whole Travis Scott thing. And truly, like if you want to be vulnerable, whatever you do want to share, how you felt and like what you can say to people to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like you don't have to make
Yeah.
everything just but it's also still fun because it's Twitter, it's our thing, it's whatever. But yeah.
Well, I think now it's more so like now I can laugh about it, right?
Yeah.
Like now I done told my story, and actually I was so like if you haven't. All right, so I'm the cameraman that got kicked off the stage in
Oh,
2015 by Travis Scott. So um I think at that point in time, I was so worried, like, first of all, of what happened and how it happened. Like,
yeah.
and I didn't get a chance to fight him at the time. Like, that was my mindset. Like, I want to fight. I want to fight
Literally.
him. I don't want to talk. I want to fight. And I didn't get it. I didn't get that closure. And I felt
Just
like a sucker. Yeah, you
especially as a
know,
man, like
especially as a man.
although
Yeah.
we're not gonna no, gender, gender things, whatever.
No,
But
you
I could
my
say
my ego is very much so my ego. My ego.
yeah.
It reinforced a lot of things. Like a lot of people tried me growing up because I was short. They
Mm-hmm.
tried me. So I did,
Me too. I'm sure. My I know it's different, but
but yeah, like they,
yeah.
they try you. They,
Mm-hmm.
so like I've had to at times overextend myself and put myself in situations where I knew better. Like, don't
Yeah.
let people push you like this. So at that moment, I was like, nobody has ever tried me like this, and
Yeah.
in such a public space.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a dark place. Like that was the first time I was like, man, if I like, I don't know, like I just wanted to hurt him. I
Yeah.
did, like, I wanted my shot to like shoot the fair one at least. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, happens. Over the years, and especially being in therapy, I was able to heal that.
Mm-hmm.
It was much more of a bruised ego than anything,
Mm-hmm.
but it was reinforced by again the things that I had been through in the past. It
Yeah.
reinforced all my insecurities, and it made me be like, is this what I'm gonna be for the rest of my life?
Yeah,
Is
like
this
a
the
known as
label
yeah.
forever?
Like
Right?
mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was very scared. And over the years, of course, I get to this point, even saying it now, it's like I've done so many great things from then, and I've done so much healing to get to the point where I listen to his music.
Yeah.
I think he's a great artist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about him back then because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't checking for him. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
great artist. He's generational talent,
Yeah.
so, and it was like Antidote is not a whack song. So he
None
threw
at
me an
all.
antidote, he threw me in a very popular
Mm-hmm.
song. So I'm able to appreciate the moment now and be like, wow, I can't believe I went through that.
Yeah.
And telling my story on BuzzFeed was able, like, it hit 1 million views, and it was able to
Maybe
really,
I
like,
haven't seen that. I'm gonna watch that. Okay.
if you get a chance, yeah, watch this story. Like I talk about going viral, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it gave me redemption in a way of people seeing who I was and that I was talented outside of just that one instance.
Yeah.
And then now I look at it as like I've done so many great things. I won a Shorty Award. Like I worked for various companies. I'm happy now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy before. You know, I was excited to get clout and be in the scene in New York and host and do all this stuff, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Now I'm happy.
It's just like, who cares?
It's yeah, yeah.
It's
Now
almost kind of funny and cool. That's a great story, like to tell your kids. Like it's good. It's
I
funny.
will tell my kids like, yo, your father got kicked off the stage, and they, you know, Travis Scott will probably be like, I don't know who to compare him to, but he'll be like seasoned by the time my kids come
Mhm.
around,
They'll
and
be like,
like,
wow.
right, like you got kicked off by Travis Scott,
Yeah.
like yeah, yeah, like yes, son,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
for me, like with the story with my friends in Bali, it's like they are not who the internet is saying. Like those narratives are just like kind of just like blown up and out there. Although they
I
are
don't know the
successful.
situation. What's the
We don't
situation?
know.
Nah.
Okay, so two girls, they're a couple. They basically lived in Bali. They're both influencers, and they
Hmm.
put out an ebook basically, saying like how to navigate Bali as like black women type of thing.
Right.
And I guess like the locals in Indonesia got a hold of it, and Indonesia is definitely a third world country, and they kind of were like, "Yo, like, are you working illegally here, or like, how are you basically benefiting off of like this country because housing and everything costs less and stuff like that?" And it just like went crazy viral. Then it went to
Mm.
Black Twitter, and they were like, "Oh, you trying to flex with the ebook?" And now da da da, and now they're being deported from.
Oh
You'll see it. Just
shit.
search Bali when we get off of here.
Okay, I got you.
And so basically their whole like identity on the internet is kind of being shattered, and it
Yeah.
really sucks because like one of them, like, she openly talked about like her mental health, especially on my podcast as well, about her anxiety and her depression. And that's like the first thing I thought about is like, she's about like, how is she gonna be like after this mentally?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that people don't think about it. And yes, it's fun, it's jokes and stuff like that, but to a certain extent, especially if it's a lie and it's like all based off of like assumptions, it just really sucks, And I'm just like, that's like
OD.
the bad part of the internet. So I just hate that like that happens to a lot of people, honestly. People go viral
Yeah.
and it's like shattering, but I don't think people understand how much of impact that can have on one person. Or they don't care. I think it's just me that cares so much. People just don't care. I don't
But
know.
the I think the interesting thing is that we're in such a here today, gone tomorrow society
Mhm.
that this will be yesterday's news
Yeah.
in 3 weeks. Like people won't even be talking about it, and then they'll bring it up every few years, and then
Yeah.
it'll be like, remember they did that dumb shit, and then it's like, oh yeah, but then it passes, and
Hmm.
it's easier said than done. But I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like, and
Yeah.
thinking that it's never gonna go away.
But it definitely always does.
Always,
It's
because
really always, that is so true. That's a good way
yeah,
to think about it. Like,
definitely.
yeah.
Like Kanye West ran for president last year
Yeah.
of the United States in America. And it was like, oh, Kanye's running for president. Okay, we got more shit to worry about.
Yeah.
He ran for president of the United. I don't know has any hip hop artist ran for president. That's
No.
new.
No.
That's some new shit.
That is like some wild shit actually that he did that.
Ain't nobody cared. Like everybody was like, yo, he's crazy. Anyway,
Mhm.
let's really just focus on this Trump because but nobody was here today, going tomorrow. Entanglement happened like remember that?
Oh my god. Yeah.
You know, don't it feel
No,
like 4 years
whole
ago?
thing. And they just kept it moving, kept it pushing.
Kept it moving.
True. And that's even like a sentiment to like life period. Like when some stuff goes down, like the pages keep turning, like the days keep
Absolutely.
going, literally.
Absolutely.
Literally.
There's so much things they'll be forgotten about in a few weeks.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up in a second. I had one more question.
Mhm.
It was about, so I feel like you are in the generation of where like you paid your dues, like as far as your career goes, right? But you
Mhm.
also are in like the internet world and internet situation. So I was wondering like, how do you feel, or what are your thoughts on people as far as like being able to get popping as a host or whatever on social media real quick versus somebody who had to like be an intern or be in promotions or whatever and had to like go that route, and like how are you adjusting to like this digital era period, because it's so many opportunities and stuff like that. So like what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, um, I think I can't get mad at someone for utilizing the landscape.
Mhm.
Like hard work beats talent most times in the week, you know? It's
Mhm.
people who consistently like have built up an audience, in a short amount of time, and have gotten huge contact contracts because they worked hard and they put the work in for it.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not saying that the person who's done it, 9, 10, 11 years, but you also have to not be a victim of change and not wanting to adapt. I had
Mhm.
to tell myself that, like, it's time to adapt. Like, you can grow.
Yeah.
You can grow. You got to learn new avenues.
You
And
can make this little Instagram reel if that's what they want.
yeah, if that's it, just expanding your palette,
Yeah.
because you got the talent is
Mhm.
there. I
Mhm.
got the talent. It's just like, all right, how do I apply it to this new landscape? People are not, you know, I mean, I done auditioned for shows upon shows upon shows upon shows, not getting it, just like not getting the opportunity, and they'll go with somebody who like built up this audience,
Yeah.
and might not have been as good, but
Just because you have
knew,
the audience.
had the audience, had the right like had all the other intangibles.
Mhm.
So I would just say, like, don't be afraid to adapt.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to grow.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid to try things that are outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Cause you just never know.
Like what will attract people?
Yeah. Like I feel like people stunt their growth.
Mhm.
I know I was very much in a particular box. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to focus on talking about music and black music, and
Mhm.
that's cool, but there's more facets about me that I like and that I can speak freely about now
Mhm.
that I couldn't before.
Yeah.
And that just comes from changing, and with changing as far as growing.
Mhm.
Just grow. Your palate expands. I'm not gonna be a victim of my own fear of change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna adapt because I can adapt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. I think I had an issue with like personally, like I love content, I love all of that, but something in it just feels like unhumbling to me, like
Mm.
or even just like posting all the time and things like that. So I had to get over that. Like I never want to seem like too full of myself or too any of that. But honestly, you have to post and talk and be yourself on social media. Like that's the way that it's all going. So I
Right.
definitely feel you. I have to like get over that and like adapt to that change. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
get over it. Because and it's all in my head, really, because people probably don't even think
Exactly.
that.
That's also what I was gonna say. Being confident enough to stand on your own feet and be like, what I'm putting out is intentional.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, like, I might post something because I feel like I have to, or like, oh, they haven't seen me in a while, so let me just throw something up, or is this throwing up too much? It's like being secure in your content and your message that you're representing, that you're saying.
Hmm.
I think it's just, it comes from more of a balancing of who you are,
Hmm.
and an understanding of who you are to be comfortable enough to come out with an authentic strategy.
Yes. And all of that comes from healing who you are and working through all that stuff.
Well,
Ooh, that's a
you
good
tied it
intro.
on back very nicely.
Facts. Okay, lastly, I always want people to leave my listeners with like what they personally do for peace of mind, like any self-care tips that you personally have that you feel people might not like be into or whatever the case may be. But what's your way of like whenever you feel not aligned, like snapping right back into it?
One thing that I was like, oh, I need in my apartment is a juicer, and so I
Yeah,
bought a
just got a juice
juicer. So
today. Mhm.
yeah, like I didn't know how much, like, just that can adjust it adjusted my attitude, like a juice every day. Thank God, I'm in a position where, like, I can do that. Like, I'm appreciative,
Mhm.
gracious. but like a juice, a different kind of fruit and vegetable juice every day is adjusting my attitude, my I never had like I guess I don't know if I had anxiety, but like it's definitely made me more calm, a more
Yeah.
calm person, a more like person who's at peace, who's like able to focus more and not
Mhm.
just scattered brain all the time, like everywhere.
That's
So I
good.
would say that is definitely one of them. I work out um at home. I don't go to. I still don't trust the gym. Still
And I'm not there either.
I'm not there yet, but I'll bust out a home workout. You know what I'm saying? Like
Definitely
do
can't
that.
cancel my Planet Fitness subscription.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah. You ain't. Yeah, these numbers is crazy. You ain't. I'm not
like.
going there, right? Take me
Mhm,
off the list.
mhm.
Um, I do that, and then I fell in love with music again.
Nice.
Like I was
I feel like I did that too.
really,
Yeah, in a sense, even though we work, like we hear music all the time, but it's
yeah,
different. It feels
it's
different
different.
now. But continue, continue.
No, I was gonna say like I fell in love with music and I started listening to music that was outside of my comfort zone that I never heard before and just different sounds and different artists and I said, this relationship with music now has allowed me to grow in that way too. That's what really helps me grow creatively as well. Like listening to different music. So I just started listening to anything that made me feel good instead of just like, oh, this is old or this is new or this is by white people. Like I just listen to like whatever make me feel good at the time.
Who are you listening to like right now? Like, what's your thing the past week or two?
Oh, past week or two. I've been listening to a lot of I love YSL.
I've heard of myself.
I love like YSL, like the whole I'm sorry, they young stoner life. So Gunna,
Got
like
you. Okay.
Thug,
All
Duke, like all them. Yeah, that's why I just the whole collective.
okay.
Like, I really enjoy like Wheezy. I really enjoy like Wheezy beats. So
Mhm.
I've been listening to a lot of them. A lot of Prince, a lot of who else I've been listening to?
I have dollars on my
Solange.
head on my playlist, so I do. I have that's the one song that I do like by Gunna.
What?
Dollars on my head.
Yo,
Yeah, I like
yo,
that song. I be like,
yeah,
I be
yo,
like, okay, I got dollars on
yes.
my head.
Wait, hold on. Let me do a quick.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna do
Quick
a quick
is go
look.
ahead.
I'm gonna do a quick look, and then we can wrap up. I promise. I just want to make sure I shout out, but definitely Solange. Like Solange, when I get home.
Mhm.
That's an album that I really started to bang during quarantine. And I was like, oh, this is fire.
Mhm.
I didn't understand it
Houston
before.
is
I was
all
like,
up in there. So
huh?
that's all, I said Houston is all up in there.
Houston is yo. How does that? Can I ask you how does that feel when you hear that album? Is it very authentic?
No, it
To you?
feels like I'm like riding down like 59 or the Beltway, which is like our main freeways. It feels so good. It like just takes me back, especially when I'm out here. Like it just feels like, damn, like, okay. Like it just feels like home. Like it really does.
Yeah,
It really does.
yeah,
And it makes me feel really proud also. Cause it's like, wow, we
yeah.
have some dope people coming out of Houston. But
Definitely. Like
yeah.
her, Liz. I mean, rap, even hip hop, like is
Mhm.
really
I feel
emerging
like the
out of.
essence of it is like we are really chill, authentic people. Like that's
Mhm.
like who we really are. So it's just like that's like how the music sound is like how we are. If that makes any sense. It's like damn,
I
we
hear,
came
I
from
hear you.
yeah. So
I hear you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mm,
So I'll just say them. I'll say them. That, but that's really what I've been listening to the past week.
perfect. And anything else you want to leave the listeners with as far as mental health goes, as far as your career goes, whatever you want to leave them with, you can definitely do that.
Mm.
Especially black men that need to go to therapy. Not need, I hate to say that, but that we all need therapy, but black men who are on the edge about going or not.
I would just say even if it's not therapy, like don't be afraid of healing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to like, yo, you getting help does not make you pussy. It makes you
Facts.
hella strong, like
Mhm.
to accept the fact that like, yo, I can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
That's a strong quality. That's
Mhm.
not pussy. It doesn't make you soft. It makes you a man. To be able to be vulnerable enough to be like, nah, this shit is crazy.
Mhm.
Let me really think about this. Let me really try to process that. I know it's easier said than done because tapping into your emotions is one of the hardest things ever because we haven't had to touch that because we're so used to being resilient, so used to being strong. But yo, I know it's tiring.
Mm-hmm.
I know what that feel like. I know you tired. I know you stressed. This pandemic shit ain't no joke. You know, this whatever's going on with the country ain't no joke. We seeing it in 4D. You know,
Mm.
we seeing it in Blu-ray. This Blu-ray. It's crisp. It's crisp. All right.
For real.
So I just want people to understand, like, yo, healing does not make you soft.
Yeah.
Make you strong. You know. So that's my message for black men, black women,
Mm-hmm.
black people, however you identify. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to get help.
Yes.
And don't make you soft.
I feel like what you saying that I always say like I'd rather be strong because I went through the healing and came out of it, although I had to probably be soft and feel all those feelings and
Yeah.
weird moment, then be strong like with the mask on or be strong, like that way. So I feel
Right.
like you're stronger because healing isn't easy. We have to put that out there too.
Yo, people think that therapy is like it fixes you, and I'm like, that's not what
No,
it is.
that's
It,
not
it,
it at all.
it's giving me the tools to be able to check and adjust myself, but I'm
Exactly.
not fixed by any means of the word. But I do identify when I'm off course.
Exactly.
I know how to get
And it's where it's not something that okay, it's a destination that you're gonna get to. It's forever
right,
as life
right.
changes. Because then you're gonna get a wife, and then that's gonna be a whole nother thing with
That's
like
a whole nother thing. You
kids.
gotta collaborate with people.
Like exactly.
You
So
know.
very much so true. But yes, I'd rather be strong in that sense and be like unknowingly strong with the mask on and like still in pain. So
Facts. Definitely.
facts. Yes, thank you so much. That was good. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I enjoyed myself immensely. I want to thank you for your
Okay,
time
great.
and your dedication to this. Like, I had a really good time, so I
Thank
appreciate it.
you. It's probably